Is it moving now?
Did it? Okay, now I see it moving.
Yeah, now I see it going up. Yeah, it's going now. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
No, now it's going.
Yeah,
okay.
I see it. It's going.
Hi, everybody. We're here. It's Anime FMK. We're doing something new today.
Yeah.
Trying something out. We're going to be... we are live streaming this for twitch.tv/stream4star right now. So if things look a little different to you, the YouTube audience, it's because this is brand new experimental stuff. Oh my God.
Yay. Experimental.
Yep.
My favorite word.
So bear with us. Yeah. For those of you in the Twitch audience, we're thinking of this less as, oh my God, it's a new live stream, and more as we're recording this anyway. It doesn't take up much extra trouble to just flip an extra switch and stream it out. So think of it less as watching a stream and more as we're showing you our recording session.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. So we're not going to do bit call-outs until probably the end, maybe in the middle if we take a break.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll figure it out. But welcome. If you've not seen Anime FMK before, let me tell you a little bit about who we are, why we do what we do. How you doing, Kieran? How was your weekend?
You sound like you have answers to why we do what we do. I'd love to hear those. My weekend was great. I'm Kieran. Hi.
I feel like the reason we do what we do is so we can hang out a little bit more and have it still be our work time.
Yep.
I'm Scott. How are you doing?
I one of those things that I said like it was a joke, but got a little too real quick was when I said, no, Scott, we're monetizing our friendship. Oh, no. That was meant to be a funny. Hi, I'm Ben. I'm your host. We got our co-hosts here. Every week, we watch some anime. We got a list, which I got on my little slate thingy right here. We're going to talk about a bunch of shows. Once we're done talking about them, we're going to hold up some cards. We might either fuck the anime, which means, hey, thumbs up, this was real good, I want to keep watching this. Or we might kill the anime, which means, nope, this show is done, it's terrible, I don't want to keep watching this show. If something gets at least 2 kills, it might get dropped off our list and we might not watch it next week. We got some rules in case of a tie, but we'll worry about those when we come to it. The point is, we're watching anime. Oh, God. Now it's live and I'm all verklempt. I feel like there was something else I needed to go over, but I don't know.
The fact that we're changing
Yes.
formats?
Yes. So,
yeah.
Yeah, previously, we broke this up. We had our short version, quote unquote. It usually still wound up being almost an hour, which is why we're going to try. We're going to see how it goes. We're going to see how people like it. We used to have our short version where we just give our quick thoughts and then hold up cards. And then we had our unsnipped segment where we just talk and talk all we want. This time, it's going to be all one big, long conversation. We're not going to worry too much about time because it just felt real awkward, honestly.
Yeah, it felt a little artificial at points.
Yeah.
There were too many times where we were obviously super eager to get into the conversation about the things that we wanted to talk about.
Yep.
But then, nope, we have to give a short synopsis, give her a verdict. Yeah, I want to fuck it, sure, and then move on. And that kind of...
Yeah.
It kind of sucks for both us and the audience.
Yeah, and we felt like it would be a good thing for the audience to have this, hey, this is the short version. If you don't have 3 hours today, then watch the short version. The problem is the short version wound up not being super short, so what's the point?
Yeah.
So we're going to assume that you like, if you are tuning in to listen to us talk, that you probably like listening to us talk. We're going to do a lot of it, starting on this... the 18th episode of Ancient Magus Bride, first show on our list that we watched last week. I like to start these off with a little plot synopsis so we know what we're talking about. In episode 18, Stella, from last episode, visits with Chisei. Elias, feeling neglected, assumes a monstrous form and runs off into the woods. Chisei chases after him. When she catches up, Elias snares her in his tentacly thorniness. Chisei gives him a lecture about jealousy, and the two return home, but Chisei accidentally lullabies him a little too hard, and he won't wake up the next morning. Kieran, start us off. How'd you feel about this episode?
This episode, I dug it hard. There was a lot going on here, specifically with the dynamic between Chisei and Elias. I felt like that was the thing that really hooked us at the beginning, and I felt you saw it in a really good form here, seeing more of like a conflict between the two, and that's what I was wanting. I was wanting something bad to happen between the two that they would have to figure out, and here we see Elias having to reconcile that he has jealousy with her, and he might be a little overprotective, a little too concerned with her. That and like his monstrous form hinting at like, I don't know, these like chimera looking features. And so I started thinking like, oh, maybe there's like some connection between him and Joseph. That's like speculative shit. But yeah, this episode had a lot with the two characters, and those are what I really, really care about. And also the side characters of this episode. Going to see what's her face? Good with an A. She does the armor.
Oh,
and I'm blanking. That's her name.
Yep.
Going to see her. That was really cool. I liked her meeting her husband too. That was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like this episode.
I was kind of mixed on it. One of the things I wanted to bring up immediately, because this stuck out the most to me, was the pacing of this. Like, maybe not the pacing, but I felt like all of the things with Stella and the response from Elias should have been its own episode. And yet it's kind of like the first 2/3, and then we get a whole other plot. Like, at the end of it, like the whole like last third of it is an entire other plot, which, I don't know, that kind of threw me off a little. But beyond that, if like once I get past the weird pacing of the story, I really dug on this episode too, because this introduced a very dangerous element of Elias to their power dynamic. And we've known Elias could be dangerous. We've known Elias has always been kind of, had this dark element to him. This is the first time I legitimately felt like Chisei was in danger because of Elias. And that was creepy, and that was weird, and that Chisei's handling of that moment was so good, though. Just to see her stay calm, keep focused, do what she needed to do. And the moment she takes out the knife, I'm like, oh, yeah, no, let's get real with this. And to see Elias's response to that be, wait a second, no, you might actually hurt yourself. His immediate response to that is, wait, no, I'm sorry. And that was good. I like that. It shows you that he's still, you can still reason with him, you can still work with him, but when he throws a temper tantrum, it's bad. Like, it's a bad.
Yeah, I think I've always said that what this show does so well for me, like when it is at its best, and I've been kind of up and down on it in the past few weeks, but at its best, it uses these supernatural goings-on as a lens to view the characters and their relationships. And I think this does such a great job because, yeah, Elias has been overprotective of Chisei, but he's always framed it as, no, well, this is for your own good. I know what's best for you. No, you can't go to London by yourself. What if spirits get all up in your head or something? Like, I gotta be there. And finally, like, this has been building for a long time. Finally, he's got no way to frame it that way. He's got no excuse. Like, yeah, Chisei is not in danger from this 10-year-old girl, but Elias still doesn't feel good about it. And so finally he turns inward and realizes, no, this is not because I want to protect you. This is because it just makes me feel bad. And I love the form that he changes into. He's been a shapeshifter for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is, I said a monstrous form. This is not like, at least initially, not a large, hulking, threatening form. This is monstrous in the sense of grotesque.
Yeah.
Like, I think it's a mirror of how he feels in this moment. Like, oh man, nobody visits me. Nobody comes to say, hey, Elias, how you doing? Actually, they probably do, but that's not how he feels in this moment. So he changes into a form. I laughed when I first saw it, because at first, like, his body looks like this shaggy. I thought it was Ruth wearing Elias's headdress as a goof for a second. And I laughed out loud, and then it pans out, and you realize, oh no, this is Elias. He's got like this fishtail. I don't know. It's real
He has
weird.
like different types of legs on each one. He has like one hoof, he has a cleft hoof, he's got a dog foot, he's got all this crazy stuff.
Which is a great representation of his personal, like, he's confused, he's frustrated, so the form he takes is convoluted and makes no sense.
Yeah, because he doesn't know what he is, he doesn't know where he belongs. Fairy world, human world, animal, dunno. And now
his main squeeze is talking to some other girl, and he's like, dang it, she should be talking to me. She shouldn't be making friends. I'm just gonna run.
Yeah, I've heard it said that a healthy relationship, if you look at the two people's circle of friends, they need to be a Venn diagram. When it's all overlap, you've got a problem. That says codependence. And right now, you try to think of who are, we've said Chisei needs to be able to have her own friends. She needs to be able to go out to London and spend an afternoon with Alice. Elias doesn't really have that. And I think he kind of needs that. And I think that's kind of the next step is, when Chisei's having her Chisei time, where does Elias go to have his Elias time?
Yeah. Also, Angelica's husband is super hot. I'm sorry. Like, the entire time I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So, like, I'm glad we have this scene here, but I'm just going to all go, what was it, David, I think?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. No.
Some normal-ass human person name like that, yeah.
Yeah, some normal dude.
Yeah.
Oh, at the end, we haven't mentioned it yet, but we see a silhouette of what seems to be Joseph walking past.
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the episode, and he looks taller, right? He looks a little. He doesn't look like a child. He is like, I don't know. Maybe it was just how they shot it, but it seemed like he was a little taller.
It was nice to see him at the end just.
And you see like the silhouette of Ash and I next to him too, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh man, they're gonna team up. That's gonna sure. I wasn't expecting that.
And then at the very end, back in the land of the dragons, we got these poachers going after our favorite adorable little Dargans, and Lindell straight up shanks one. It is, yeah.
Poachers again trying to steal dragons.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, what do you do with those guys? It's like, yeah, you came to the wrong place to poach animals, dude.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, Joseph shows up in that bit too, and
yeah.
that's not entirely sure where that's going, what's going on, but I don't know. We have said this a lot, like, hey, cool cliffhanger, this looks like some real danger, and had it not turn out to be some real danger, because it's Joseph specifically.
Yeah.
Like, he's the dude who's gotten up to some shit in this show.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Joseph is the one character who I can say, if they're there, they're doing something shitty. Like, there's no question, and that's why I'm kind of excited, because, like, I'm not that guy who says, yeah, we need a constant protagonist, but we do need risk, we need danger. So when Joseph shows up, he brings the danger.
And I like that this is pulling in Lindell and the dragons too, that this threat might seemingly bring people that we've seen throughout the whole show together. I like that a lot.
Yep.
Because this whole show has been a celebration of Chisei meeting people and learning things from all these people. I'd like to see, my favorite trope in all like stupid video games and shit is everybody coming together for the final boss fight. I want to see that shit.
Other thing I liked, the nature dryad spirit child out in the woods, the daughter of the pregnant lady riding the...
Yeah, that was really cool. I'm sort of sad that they cut out that story.
Yeah, that very much felt like, there is a whole story here that we don't got time to get into, but trust us, it's dope.
Yeah.
I bet it's dope.
Yeah, check out the manga. They have the story with her in the manga. Cutting it out here didn't do too much damage. You got the idea. Elias and Chisei were doing things for the forest, etc. So it's not like they didn't hint at it and give you enough information.
Yeah.
But yeah, like some people were talking about it, like, I don't know why they cut that out. I know why they cut that out. They have like 26 episodes, and they've got to fit everything in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but stuff like that fulfills a similar function as like the cantina scene in Star Wars with all these dope aliens.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you can pick up the Tales of the Star Wars Cantina book with a little short story about every one of those aliens, and they all have their weird backstory, and stuff like that really fleshes out a world and makes it feel real and lived in.
Yeah.
And I don't specifically need to know what that character's story is. I just think it's real cool that it's there.
No, the setting has always been, in my opinion, the best thing about this show is how alive they make things feel. So not seeing that happen, but still have it come around to come into the main story, I like it. It shows that stuff is happening that we might not be privy to, and it just makes it feel more alive to me.
yeah,
Yep. So, guys, you ready to hold up some cards?
I'm ready to hold up my card.
Yep.
Sometimes we do this one by one, but unless somebody wants to pull something crazy, I'm just
I
gonna.
think that's pretty straightforward. Yeah. No, it's still good. Show's still in good form.
Yep. That's if anything, I feel this episode was in better form.
Yeah,
Than,
I agree.
Like, probably one of the highlights, in my estimation, of the back half of this season, of this winter cour.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Yeah. But let's see if those good feelings keep on going to a place further than the universe.
Oh!
Yeah, here in episode 6. The girls arrive in Australia. During their 2-day layover, they discover that Genki-chan has misplaced her passport. They deal with some bureaucracy, and there's a lot of very Japanese apologizing.
Okay, so I'm going to lead this one off because this episode, I feel like is the closest thing to filler that this show has had, even though it did something to progress the relationship between Hinata and Shirase. Mm-hmm. But yeah, this story was kind of, I don't know. I kind of don't want to get straight to the end of it, but the fact, like, I'm just going to say it up front.
Yeah, we should also probably mention, for the sake of new viewers, we're going to talk about these episodes. We're going to talk about spoilers for these episodes.
Yeah.
If you're watching the YouTube version, there's some time codes down there. If you don't want spoilers for this show, if you haven't seen it yet, you can skip ahead. Oh, that's fine.
Yeah. So, yeah, everything's okay in the end.
Yep.
Like, literally nothing changes, except, again, for the relationship between Shirase and Hinata. Like, that's good. I'm glad. I'm glad to see that these characters are coming closer together, but the entirety of this episode, its purpose seemed to be, oh, yeah, they have no relationship. Like, Hinata and Shirase, like, Hinata is the most far removed out of all these characters. She has the least reason to be there. Mm-hmm. So let's put them together and then give them a reason to get closer. And it's a good reason. Like, when Shirase tells her specifically, I don't want to have the kind of relationship with you that you can make those sacrifices and it not mean anything to me. Like, I'm like, oh, that's a good message. I like that. And then at the end, it's like, oh, but it turns out there was no sacrifice. So
I don't think you needed it. Like,
yeah, I mean,
it's I liked seeing conflict within this group of 4 characters. I think they have been together for long enough that, yeah, it's time for them to deal with some shit. And I loved seeing it. I thought it was a very real, very relatable problem.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were thinking what I was thinking, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Let me tell you about Phoenix Comic-Con, all right? Let me talk about a friend of ours who has not been invited back to Phoenix Comic-Con since he forgot his passport and missed his flight and didn't make it at the last minute. They've been very cool. They've been very polite. They have also never invited him back. We have gone back.
Yeah.
I almost said something that is not public knowledge.
But yeah, no.
We hope to go back.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, but when it came to this episode, I still really enjoyed it because my God, this is one of the funniest episodes so far as well. It's got so many great jokes. As a guy who's eaten durian fruit before, I'm like right there, like, no, it's an acquired taste, but once you acquire it, durian fruit's kind of neat. But no, that initial flavor, that initial smell is the worst damn thing.
No, I felt like this, while maybe not doing as much to progress the plot insofar as steps taken to get there, this is something that every other show doesn't do well, so I like seeing it here. That's people being human. That's people talking. Just the scenes with those two, Hinata and Shirase, in their bedroom, just talking or like sitting in silence awkwardly, not knowing what to say. And Hinata just trying to be all happy, like, yeah, don't worry about it. Just, go without me. I'll be fine. Trying to be, positive about everything. This is a very mature, like, critique and like introspective look at this kind of dynamic of these characters, because these characters exist. It's like, we're gonna have these cute ass girl characters go. We're gonna have Geiki-chan and Quiet Girl. Now we're going to see them alone. What do they do? Because any other show would just have next, story beat, next thing happening. I like seeing the moments that most stories don't like to explore. And this show does it in such a way that they feel so alive and so real. The dialogue and the writing for this show continues to be its highlight for me. They know how to make people sound and feel concerted, and it works so well.
Yeah, another neat little character detail. Idol Girl, always the one who notices, hey, something's up with you. What are you hiding? What are you doing? What's going on? Yeah.
Yeah, no, the fact, and God, I love how I love that she repeats the phrase verbatim both times. And she's very introspective on people's characters because she's probably had to deal with fake people, people hiding their intent, hiding their interests. So, and to see that kind of empathy come from her is really refreshing and marks how more mature she is than some of the other girls. Like, if you'll notice, she's probably the one who's got her shit together the most, which is great because you have Hinata over there who's like this kind of prodigy of a young woman, and she's the goofiest out of them all. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no, Shiraishi, like, what do you call her?
That's the one that I don't have a silly nickname for because
YouTube girl.
no, yeah, Idol Girl.
Yeah, Idol Girl. Idol Girl she's so interesting because she's not my favorite character necessarily, but I feel like the one who's got the most emotional depth, but she's constantly at this like point where she doesn't want to go too much into it. She's always kind of she's playing the outside, not because she doesn't want to be close to them, but because she's like, somebody's got to be the mature one here and deal with all y'all's nonsense.
Yeah.
Well, and especially in this particular situation where she's right at home, like, yeah, I travel for work all the time. Planes, yeah, I'm on them. Everybody else is like, oh my God, I've never been on a plane before.
Yeah.
We're going to Australia.
God, and that's the one thing that this show just nails is this feels so logically consistent. Like, just, of course, we haven't been on a plane, and we just get, like, 2-3 minutes of them fucking around on the plane. Like, you can do this? What? You can do all that? Like, I love seeing them have fun with these things that we might view as mundane, especially if we've traveled a lot and stuff like that. It's fun.
Yeah, no, it was great for me because, I've traveled a lot for conventions and, occasionally to go on vacation with my husband or to Japan. So, like, playing with the games, like, watching movies. Like, that was great. And I was so happy. I was so scared that they might not show us on the actual flight. And, I was really happy that they did. Also, there was one other thing that I was going to bring up that, you were talking about the scene in the hotel room with Shirase and Hinata.
Yeah.
That scene hit really close to home for me.
Same.
Yeah. I've been both those characters.
Yeah.
I've had to deal with people who have lost stuff and inconvenienced me in a group. And I've been the person who has inconvenienced that group.
Yeah.
And that expression on her face and the way she delivers, I'd like to take a shower now. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, girl.
Yeah.
Like, you were doing your best to just keep it cool and be nice and be friendly. And it's you're right. The dialogue in the show, the delivery, everything about those scenes is perfect. It's remarkable.
Yeah. Also, it just feels, what furthers the realism for me is this feels like, the character writing is so spot on with her mentioning, like, God, if I can't relate to her saying, like, I don't want people to have to inconvenience themselves for me. I don't want you to care about me because that makes me feel bad. I want you to prioritize the thing you want. Like, that is so relatable for me. Like, I want to just, if I know I'm inconveniencing somebody, I want to disappear. Don't acknowledge me. Just do whatever you want to do because you worrying about me makes me upset. And then, blah, 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 blah. And just the way the kind of whole episode wraps up, really good message.
I said to you once, Kieran, that I come into work every day thinking, how can I make this a better workplace for Kieran?
Yeah.
And I could see how uncomfortable that made you.
And I was like, no, don't. Don't
like,
worry about me.
Nope. It's already done. You got to deal with it.
Yeah. I'm like, so that was just something that I really got that with her because she tries to be all peppy, like, nah, don't worry about it, man. It's going to be fine. I try to do that a lot. So just seeing her and Shirase get really contemplative, really into it, I appreciated that.
Yeah, and I loved seeing how in denial Genki-chan was about.
Totally.
Like, it'll turn up, it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. I don't have to tell everybody because then I'd have to tell everybody I fucked up. So nope, not gonna.
I like the very subtle nod to when when she first realizes there's a problem, and I knew exactly what it was. I knew exactly immediately what had happened.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, how's that gonna come back around?
Yeah.
And then on the opposite part of that, the last scene, like where they're at the table with the durian fruit, is so brilliant.
They paced it. That was so funny. They paced it so well. Also, I loved the because they're in what's the city?
Yeah, what was the city?
What's the freaking city? They're in.
They're not in Fremantle yet. That's where they're heading.
No.
Yeah.
Merlion.
No, that's the statue.
Yeah.
That's in somewhere. I looked it up. They're in a city. Shanghai. No, Taiwan.
No,
Thailand.
Singapore.
Singapore. That's
Yeah.
what it is. they went there. And because the photorealistic backgrounds for this stuff look so good. Like they really went the extra mile to make this city feel real. And I was like, oh man, wow, I didn't know that was there. That's so cool.
Oh, when they go to the restaurant and they're dealing with Western portion sizes for the first time.
Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah, when I went to Japan, that was the best thing. You could go to a restaurant, order something, and get the proper amount for one sitting.
Oh
Yeah.
my God, yes. I was able to eat all kinds of different food in Japan because when I ordered something in Japan, I could eat it and be like, okay, cool. Now I'm going to go eat another thing and not hate myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was great.
Yep. It was great. It was so great. I'm going to hold up this eggplant.
Oh, yeah.
This show's great.
Yeah.
I highly recommend it.
Yeah, kind of hold up that eggplant as well. I mean, it's pretty obvious that the show is doing all of the right things right now.
And we didn't touch on it yet, but this the animation, by the way, Madhouse knocking it out of the park. Every expression they do, every little motion they have, it feels real. It's got a weight to it. It's so good.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, one more note that I made. The music during specifically the scene where Shirase realizes that she had the passport the whole time.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, the music is incredible. Just this like overdramatic hamster dun dun dun. dun. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so well done.
There's a reason that scene with the mom and Kimari is one of my favorites. The music is so serious and so overdramatic and so melodramatic, and I was like, oh my God.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Dun
good.
dun. Oh my God.
Well, let's see if we're feeling as positive about Junji Ito Collection this week. In this episode 6, for those who haven't been following us, Junji Ito is an anthology collection, usually multiple parts, multiple standalone stories per episode. Here in part 1, new boy moves into a new house whose neighbor is spooky. In part 2, the sixth sense happens. So, yeah, part 1, I'll tip my hand here. I really like this episode. This might be the strongest episode of this show so far. Part 1 was pretty short, which I appreciated it. It was a very simple story. It felt like a fairy tale, like a Grimm's spooky story that you'd tell around a campfire, where this next door neighbor is repeating the same phrases over and over. Young man. So he moves into this new house, tries to say hello to the neighbors. The house right next door is kind of weird. It only has one window, and the window doesn't face the street. It faces directly into his bedroom window.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not a whole lot of complexity to it. Just, hey, this lady's real creepy. Deal with that. His parents don't believe him. That's real creepy. Deal with that. And then that final shot.
Yeah, and God, the final shot is so good. And when I saw that, I recognized that because I had seen that. Because I did a whole lot of searching back when I was on the Chan boards all the time. They fucking love Junji Ito there. And I remember seeing that shot specifically and a few responses. Like, holy crap, that's such a cool image. That's so freaky. And what a great ending shot. It just reminds me of the last episode. We had that awesome ending shot with the other clone one coming in. It was a good way to go out. But man, that second story, yeah, so good to me at least.
Yeah, I say the sixth sense happens. There are some plot similarities. But yeah, by the way, hey, spoilers. You want to know the twist? The sixth sense happens.
Yeah.
But Scott, felt like you were about to say something.
That first segment was really interesting. I love the actress they had for the
right.
They were I think that might have actually been a one of those female actresses, the same one of the same ones that voices Orochimaru.
I could see that. Yeah.
But if it wasn't, it was a guy.
Yeah.
And yeah, what a perfect pick for that character.
Yeah.
And there were some parts that worked really well for me, like when those hands were reaching out.
Yeah, the hands was real creepy.
The camera work was so good.
Yeah, that was actually really well done. I liked that a lot. I liked the creepy concept. I felt like the part where she tries to use the the
laundry pole.
Yeah, I thought that was more silly than scary. That's one of the things that kind of throws me off with Junji Ito's stories in general, is that sometimes I don't know if he means to inject levity or if he just feels like the surreality will sell the shot, but I didn't dig on that so much because I was like, when you're talking about these things, I don't want them to be immediately physical, and then that literally puts the physicality out there. And you were talking about the last shot and how effective it was. It actually didn't work that well for me, if only because they languished a little bit too much and flourished with too much with the music. I felt like that was a creepy, like holy shit, it grew outside the building.
Yeah.
But the music and like the pan over it, I didn't dig on it, and I feel like that just plays to how poorly the editing is in this show and the storyboarding can be. Because again, I don't dig on like it's how it just kind of presents things as they are and does not trick you enough.
I couldn't disagree more. I thought it really doesn't linger on it that much. It's there for like a few seconds and that's it.
Yeah. Well, the thing that threw me off again is that it slowly fades into the shot of it from the front, and that's giving away a little bit too much of what's happened to the building with like the warts that are like the
purple shit.
Yeah, all that purple shit. I would have rather have just seen like a negative image of that and then just a hard cut to it, like the full image. I don't know. For me, I've got critiques of this because there are so many places I feel like, and this is coming from me, I'm like, I really could have done that shot better if you just cut a little bit and shown less. And I don't know. I didn't dig on that first part as much as you did. Although, again, there were parts that legitimately creeped me out. Like, I absolutely loved that shot of those arms that was animated so well, and it works the camera, and the actor, the seiyuu, for the woman is so good.
It's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. And now let's talk about the part that was, I can say, legitimately good.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, so the this girl marries into this prestigious family, and there are like generations upon generations of this huge clan basically living in this giant house. Her husband showing her around like, yeah, there's my dad, my grandparents, my great-grandparents, my great-great-grandparents. And at one point she sees what seems to be a straight-up ghost. And he explains to her like, see, at first this seemed like a real hair-splitting distinction. He says, they're not ghosts, they're after images.
Yeah,
I'm like, well, what's the fucking difference? But what sold it for me is the difference is it's not actually like a part of the person that lives on. It's like they show this like ritual where they make this happen. Everybody like concentrates really hard on the deceased and like conjures this after image, but it's all made from the living's memories and thoughts in their mind. The way he explains it is they would never say or do anything surprising.
Yeah.
They can't do anything that you, the living, couldn't imagine them doing.
Yeah, it's a tulpa. This is a thing. This is a like kind of a mythological paranormal thing that if you just Google TULPA, they're called tulpas, and it's very common in the Middle East. You hear a lot of stories about that. But this is a common thing that some cultures practice, is trying to invoke a tulpa, which is just a thought being, like an imaginary friend that you could actually do something with.
Yeah, so they do this, and he explains like these after images, they usually last about 20 years, and they kind of fade as time passes, and so it allows us to say goodbye to the departed slowly, comfortably over time. And the twist, what a twist, is of course that turns out the girl is one of these herself. After she notices her in-laws feel very distant and cold towards her, and she doesn't understand why, and then she catches her husband meeting a woman from work, like, are you cheating on me? Are you involved with her?
Yeah.
And he says, well, I'm involved with her, but I'm not cheating. I plan to marry her, but I plan to do right by you. Well, you're still around, because, hey, turns out you died the day before our wedding.
Yep.
And the way I really like how they paced it. Just pacing it with we really should have told you, and just actually seeing the accident, like the blood on her heel. It was really cool, and I thought him yelling her name was a little over the top, but
Oh, I thought so. The interesting thing about this story was I knew that there was going to be a twist, but I thought it was the little sister.
Yeah,
and that was
one.
That was a good job on Ito's part, throwing you a twist like early on / to the middle, like, because otherwise you're just going to be like, okay, it has to be her, right? No, it's the little sister. The little sister's an after image. Okay, well, that's kind of weird and creepy and sad. And then, nope, it's also her too.
Yeah.
Double twist, boom.
Yeah, I think sort of the strength and weakness of this show is how little interest it has in conventional narratives. It can be a weakness when it's frustrating, when you want there to be something more interesting. It can be a strength because I wasn't sitting here looking for a twist.
Yeah.
They've gone so many weird directions with these stories that I'm sitting here like, there could be a twist, there could not be a twist. I don't care. Just show me this weird thing that you want to show me, and I'll worry about it later. And I think that's a much more satisfying way to watch this than like an M. Night Shyamalan movie where you're sitting there the whole time, arms folded, like, surprise me, M. Night.
yeah, exactly. No, I feel like you have to have a bit of levity with this, and that's just, I guess, the nature of this show and Ito's writing in general. Like, the whole character of, like, Koichi is that alone. It's just like, not everything has to be so serious. Let's just goof off. Maybe things are just creepy for a bit.
Yeah, and this one wasn't scary. This was just somber and kind of sad, but also a little bit sweet in places. And there was one thing where I got what Ito was going for with her imagining or her dreaming of her father's death. I guess that added some flavor to the story. I was wondering how it was going to play in thematically overall.
Yeah.
But I guess that also kind of led her to want to, like, that's her greatest fear, basically. So when she, like, that drove her to then come to the parents and ask for them, please make an after image of him. And that gives us the reason of why they're like, no, we're not going to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because at the time she's all apologetic, like, oh no, it's too much. It's very Japanese. But from our perspective, it's like, well, why not though?
Yeah.
Are you just dicks for no reason? No, it turns out because she's not real either.
Yeah. So there's really nothing she would gain out of that either.
Yeah, they're probably sitting there like, man, I know this is a big deal for our son, but I wish you would kind of just get, like, you never even got married. Like, like now you're dedicating upwards of 20 years of your life to this relationship that kind of never got off the ground.
I like how well, like, 'cause you can take it literally because the show addresses it literally, but I feel like symbolically this actually does a lot more for me. Like, seeing how these after images serve as this metaphor for grief and, like, the inability to to deal with it. They mention at one point, I think he says, like, yeah, my great grandma, she's almost on her way out. We don't even look at her anymore.
Yep.
But the sister, you see that scene with her and his mother, and she's like, oh, she's still in tears over it. She's like, I'm never going to grow up, Mommy. I'm never going to get married. I'm going to stay with you forever. And she's like, that's right. You are. And it's just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it also, the main character, the girl, later on says, I realized, like, what must they think of me? Where, like, yeah, I'm so afraid of my father dying, but I never have bad dreams about my husband dying. And then you realize why. Because their image of her is still the person she was the day before they were supposed to get married, where, yeah, she loves her husband, but he hasn't become the center of her life yet, and he never can.
Yeah, and she still has those fears of, you see that one moment where she wakes up still having the dreams of, like, oh no, my father, he's like, oh, you had it again, it's gonna be okay. Like, just very, very formulaic at that point. Yeah. This story really knocked it out of the park for me. I loved it.
Yeah. I feel like the Sixth Sense comparison, while an obvious one, might do this a disservice, because go back and watch The Sixth Sense knowing the twist. It doesn't hold up.
Yeah.
It is a bad movie. If you, like, the one thing that it's got going for it is what a twist, because it makes no goddamn sense otherwise.
Yeah. I actually had that problem with that movie the first time I saw it. Like, when I got to the twist, I'm like, nothing adds up then.
Yeah.
Like, it... And
Fight Club is a movie where you go back and watch it knowing the twist, and it's like, oh shit, they were dropping all these hints. Holy shit! And I think that is the mark of a good twist. The one where you don't see it coming, but it seems obvious once you know.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think this takes that same broad concept as The Sixth Sense and uses it to tell a better story.
I think so too. It does more, at least on a deeper level, I think, trying to at least addressing like, okay, so we have a ghost person here. Let's talk about grief and how people can't deal with it. I like that.
Yeah, something else, not to take it too much on a Sixth Sense tangent, but fuck it, why not? I read a review of that movie where somebody said, this movie only works because it's Bruce Willis. Because for his entire career, he has been playing estranged husbands. If it was anybody else, you'd be sitting here like, man, his wife is a frigid bitch. What the hell is wrong with her? But because it's Bruce Willis, you think, what, Bruce, what did you do this time? Oh, you.
Yeah.
But, guys, let's hold up some cards. Kieran, start us off.
This was probably the best episode so far. I think the only one that I liked a bit more than this was the one last week with the alternate version of yourself in the weird Lovecraft dimension. But this one, both stories, I think, the first one is short enough and creepy enough, and the animation is top-notch in the places where it counts. And the second part is a really somber, reflective, much more emotional story. It's really good.
So I had a lot of good things to say about this episode of Junji Ito.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm still knifing it.
Yeah, sure. It would bring back your dead dog, and you'd still knife it.
Well, if it brought back my dead dog as a zombie that couldn't play fetch, then yeah, I would knife it, because that's what. Here's the thing. That's what Junji Ito.
Here's the thing. You hadn't trained your dog to fetch when he died, so now that can never.
Oh
change.
no.
See, Junji Ito Collection, just does not give me anything better than what the manga could give me, and delivers it worse than what the manga could give me. So no, I will until an episode arrives that I'm like, wow, yeah, this could only have worked in the show and works so well in the show. I'm gonna have to continue to knife it, because it again doesn't. There's the manga. Go read the manga. Go read his mangas. Don't watch the show. That's my personal feeling.
Well, I'm still fucking it. I've been pretty lenient on this show, and because, anthology, it might give me something dope next week. This is the first time in a while that I can hold up this card and feel like, no, I'm not grading on a curve. This was just a really solid half hour of television that I can feel good about recommending. So that's a double fuck, which means everything is safe so far this week.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but we will see whether that continues to be the case as we move on to Kokkoku. In this episode 6, Tsubasa chokes out Blue Polo. Tsubasa starts to give in to despair and turn heraldic, but Juri stalls him out before that happens. Pretty Lady and freckle-faced thug kidnap Makoto to force Juri to help them. They summon some heralds, and Juri stalls them, and sure enough, they have the mummified remains of Pretty Lady's family inside them. That's your broad strokes overview. There's a lot more details of how that happens. We sort of find, I think at least, everybody in this family has their own special weird time-stoppy powers. Seems like Dad's time-stoppy power is he can summon heralds real easy. He barely has to even think about killing somebody, and boom, they're right there.
This episode felt a bit more what I was looking for. I don't want to tip my hand too much, but this episode had a lot of the... I was worried about them going the action route, but this actually handled it in a way that I wasn't expecting and really enjoyed. I'm kind of okay with Juri being of the Byakugan, the Hyuga clan. I enjoyed the heralds showing up and just kind of wrecking shit for a bit, and when they fade away, they're just kind of like clouds of dust, like stuck in the air. I don't know. This episode, I feel like it's starting to take a slow uptick in terms of at least stuff happening, which is all I wanted. I just wanted more. And with What's-Her-Face trying to get with her family, and now we have a bit more closure with that. And now seemingly it looks like was it her brother?
We see her brother and her mom.
Yeah.
Not her dad yet.
No, her dad was there,
Yeah, we
right?
saw the dad. We saw the dad, then we saw the mom, and then we saw the kid at the very end.
Yeah, the kid was there.
I remember the mom and the kid.
The dad was there because the two parts, like the mom was the bridging part, and the dad was in the big husky milky center.
Yeah, we see both.
All right, I'll believe you.
But I'm glad that they I wanted that out of the way, because I feel like that was her only character trait so far, and so I'm glad that got its its due, and now we can move on to see some other stuff. They're playing a bit more with, culty dudes doing things. I hope to know what that is.
I'm real glad that they are killing off lots of characters, so there are fewer to keep track of.
I appreciate that too.
Yeah, one of the worst things that this show has done, and, again, the action, all these things happening in this episode, all these characters together is really helping it, because I figured out one of my biggest problems with this show so far. Mm-hmm. It is doing a poor job at making you care about these characters and their predicaments. Mm-hmm. Not because they're not interesting characters, but it does so little with them to actually engage us. The dad is fucking terrible. He's the worst. Yep. Tsubasa, he only just finally did something worth caring about. And then there's... Juri's cool. She's the best character in the entire thing, but giving her that Byakugan power both gave her better, allowed her to act more independently, but at the same time also kind of undermines the danger that they're in. Yeah. And meanwhile, I still feel like the grandpa's the best character just because he's the only one who's stop screwing around and he slaps his son and helps his daughter, and I like him a lot. But when you're only two characters that have really any urgency, or at least, that you care about, are literally Juri and the grandpa, all this other stuff going on is okay, so pretty lady over here wants her family back. I mean, that's kind of neat, but we barely know anything about her other than her tragedy. It's I don't know about her. I don't know what her likes or dislikes are. I don't know her quirks.
Yeah. What happened to her after her family disappeared? Was she in an orphanage? Did she have foster parents? How did she get from that point to this point?
Mm-hmm.
It's all a big old blank. Yeah. I don't know. I agree. This may have been my favorite episode yet. Mm-hmm. Wow, this was my favorite episode yet.
Yeah, I know. That's because I'm so torn because this was better. But how much is that better really when you compare it to other things and by the sixth episode of other shows we really like?
Yeah. Also, was it just me or Tsubasa, you saw the knife going in. You saw him get stabbed. He did not seem to be in the least bit stabbed after that.
Actually, it's kind of interesting because because remember when he was using the shirt? This goes by really quickly. I'm pretty sure he actually stabbed the other dude because remember when he's using the shirt?
I mean, I remember him wrapping the shirt around the dude and choking him out.
No, it was his arm. Sorry. Yeah. You barely see it, but he's holding the shirt up against his arm, and so there are a couple shots after where you see him bleeding from the arm, but I think that's the.
He got stabbed in his arm?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, that whole sequence was really poorly done when it comes to shot choreography and just letting the audience know what the fuck is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll agree.
So yeah, I'm
the thing with I do want to talk a bit about the whole prospect of the heralds, because this is now the key part of this show's identity. It does not want to let this shit go.
Yeah.
They seem more interesting to me, and I am surprised to say that. I thought I would hate them, but once the big one showed up and she was on top, navigating through the forest of his little sandy hair tendrils, I actually kind of dug it. And I don't know what really about it kind of won me over, but I feel like if it's just been bludgeoned into my head so many times, but I hated that they were there. I'm we just have to stop time, focus on that. But I don't know, if they want to pull them into a bigger plot device, I might be okay seeing what they do with them.
Well, and I think that's one of the other big problems we've had with the show is that it set up expectations. And then while I'm happy when shows and films take your expectations and then change them up, this set us up with something that we actually wanted and then gave us something that if they had set up for it properly, I would have wanted maybe. But no, I didn't want big tree people. Or at least I didn't want big tree people to be a mainstay part of the story. So I agree with you, though, in this episode. They work really well because they are a threat and they're a big portion of it. And we see that, when that killing intent goes away, they don't stop trying to kill you. You messed up and you're going to die.
Yeah.
So it was kind of interesting to see them have to fight for their lives in here against this big supernatural being. But again, one of my bigger issues is that I wanted the dad to die. Like, legit, though.
Yeah.
And that's, I'm not sure if the show, like, maybe the show is supposed to be complicated like that, but it's not doing enough to, it doesn't make it complicated for me. It just makes me want the dad to die.
Yeah.
So, to that extent, I think it's kind of a failure of storytelling in that respect. I'm not, like, I'm into it, I'm into this big action set piece, but otherwise it's like, yeah, but there's no emotional investment, not even a little bit.
No, they don't know how to spin all the plates they have going on.
No, so, like, I feel like this was a better episode. I feel like beyond maybe the first episode, which introduced us to the characters and their quirks, this was the best episode. But if I may hold up a card,
Yeah.
yeah, too little, too late. Like, this is 6 episodes in, and as you said, this is quote unquote the best episode. That's a problem. Like, I can't recommend this show to anyone anymore. This episode would have had to have been, like, legitimately really good for me to be like, you know what? It takes 6 episodes. It's complicated to get there, but guess what? It gets really cool. Nah, I'm sorry.
Yeah. How you feeling, Kieran?
I don't know.
Yeah,
This is I don't have. I was hoping I would have a decision by the time this conversation was done, and I don't. Oh man.
This is why I write down my decisions ahead of time. Like, I am open to having my mind changed over the course of these conversations, but if I'm like, I can always look down there and go, well, this is how I felt right after watching the episode.
I didn't feel. I didn't though. After this episode, I really didn't. I was so torn because it's so middle of the road. It has potential to be cool, and I see that.
Yep.
And I'm seeing that come through. Would I recommend it? Nah. Nah, I wouldn't. I feel like this show had a premise that was really cool, and it had real massive Homestuck syndrome, where it thinks it's really smart and has its head up its ass so far that only anybody willing to climb in will find out what's up there.
At least Homestuck was quirky. And,
Yeah, at least Homestuck had fun with it, though.
Yeah.
Well, let's put the knife down.
Oh, shit!
Yeah.
All right.
It's like, it's episode 6, and I'm just barely like, I guess. That's pretty damning. Like,
Yeah.
I was just bored a lot of the time, and
No, that's true. It's like for everything I did like it. I felt like this episode. I feel like we all liked this episode more. But yeah, Kokkoku is taking way too long to get interesting, and I can't see it honestly doing anything even crazier to try and win me back.
yeah, like, that's what it comes down to for me is, like, if it weren't for this show, would I be watching this for my own pleasure, or would I have moved on to
Exactly,
something
yeah.
else? And yeah, I would have moved on probably a couple of episodes ago, but let's get real. There was some shit that needed to, well, I don't know.
No, there was a couple episodes ago.
Yeah.
Like, look, Hoshin Engi and Citrus.
Yeah.
We actually had detestment.
We
for
had
that.
some weeds that needed whacked.
Yep.
And nobody wants to sit. And no one wants to watch us sit here and just hate a show. There's no fun in that.
I don't know. I think
I
some
don't
of the
know.
people
I
who
think
voted
some
for
people
Citrus,
do.
not all of them, not all of them.
Yeah.
Some people legitimately, like manga fans who didn't know the dog's breakfast that the anime would make of it. But let's.
It's a beautiful dog's breakfast.
What anime are we on? Is this number 3 or 4?
That was. Let's see. I think that was 4 or.
I'm asking because I need to go to the potty.
Okay, let's take a quick break. We're gonna let Kieran go to the potty. I'm gonna read off some bit drops that'll get cut out of the YouTube version, and we will see you in just a second.
Thanks for watching.
Yep. Okay, I think we're back.
And we're back.
We're back.
Yay.
Everything's back. Hakata Tonkotsu Ramens is back. Back again.
It is.
In
Bone Buzz back. Sorry.
Hey, Kieran.
Yeah?
It's back. I told a friend. Hey, Scott. It's back. You're my friend, too.
Yay.
Yay. In episode 5, Red Rum Incorporated wants to murder Normal Boy for quitting. The Mafia wants to murder the Samurai. Hitman Girl is bad at baseball. Glasses Man wants Cross to be a ninja. Detective Bedhead wants to get drunk and be in a parade. Man Bun fights Hitman Girl on a train and loses. Next time, ninja versus samurai maybe, but probably not. I was already feeling pretty down on this show last week. This didn't do much to improve my hopes for it. Not a whole lot happened. This felt like a lot of table setting for the next arc. None of it makes me think, oh man, this next arc's gonna be dope! I don't know. What'd you guys feel like?
So I was talking with my friend Gavin, like I did a pregame, about Ninja Samurai, or not Ninja Samurai, Ninja Hitman. And he thought it was really cool. Like, oh yeah, there's branding to think about. Being an assassin, you have to worry. You have like getting a nickname, getting a reputation. And I'm like, yeah, that's pretty neat. Wish the show had been about that from the very beginning. That would have been cool. Instead of like all this other nonsense. Like, I get that it was trying to introduce us to Lin and his story, but honestly, I really feel like the story should have been more focused on setting up the idea of these different hitmen and the different companies and their different ideas and their different approaches, which instead we got these interpersonal stories from a bunch of characters that range from stock to barely interesting. This episode sets the stage with the Ninja Hitman, which currently in the running for like neatest character concept of a guy who's just like really good, but he's like, I'm done with these shit jobs, I quit, and then leaves, and he's like, he goes to this new place, and they're like, yeah, we're gonna make you a ninja, and he's like, yeah, are you fucking kidding me? I don't want to be a fucking ninja. Well, no, you don't understand. It's gonna be great. You're gonna be huge, kid. Everyone's gonna love it. And I love the idea that he's really bad at throwing the shuriken at first, because yeah, apparently his early game sucks. And I know, like, and that's kind of this cool concept of once he gets into the flow, he's unstoppable. But early on, he's too aggressive, and I'm like, that's neat.
I think that's a cool idea for like a weird, quirky side character. That seems to be the only real antagonist they're building up for this arc, and that does not do it for me. Like, wow, this is the guy I'm supposed to be excited to see Detective Bedhead fight? Okay. I don't know. How you feeling, Kieran?
Meh.
Yeah.
Could I give him more 75% on a test reaction? It's just like, I don't know. The show it's not boring. It's not boring. That's the one thing. I'm not bored when I'm watching it, but I'm not having a great time. Yeah, hey, I'm just me. It's kind of boring, but it has enough for it. Like everything it does, it is doing to some degree. It's not competent, I will not say that but it is using storytelling devices. Some robot somewhere put this together and knew from like taking Bakano and Durarara, a bit of like Samurai Champloo, and like we know some elements here that kind of work.
You know what scene that I really liked? I liked Computer Kid. I loved Computer Kid calling Saito on the phone and leaving him a message telling him, hey, by the way, I just sent an assassin to your house. Bye. And I was like, wait a second. You called him and you didn't even get him live to tell him what was happening. You left a goddamn voicemail. What if he hadn't checked his phone? What would have happened?
Yeah, like stuff like that is what's good about this show. This like banality, the daily lives of people in a city where fucking everybody's a hitman or involved in organized crime, where it's just expected. Like, hey, dude, just a heads up. I just ratted you out to some dudes who want to kill you. No hard feelings. Hope you get out of it alive. All right.
Yeah.
Baseball later. Bye.
And the best part is that doesn't even go against his contract either, because it's like,
Yeah.
I gave you the information. What I do with it afterwards is all my business.
Yep.
Also, okay, so I get the idea of setting up for a point later, like when they're on the train and Lin falls into Banba's lab because, oh yeah, it gets really rocky at the stop here.
And also because they're pushing that ship real hard.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah. By the way, so I thought in the opening it was like,
Yeah.
Are they doing that? Because it feels like they're doing that.
As of this episode, I feel pretty comfortable saying, yeah, they're doing that.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's ship baiting, I don't know if it's queer baiting or something, or if the mangaka was like, yeah, they're totally gonna bang. Because I have seen shows where they do exactly this, and they do end up banging. Like this is these are some serious ship baiting traps that they're. Now, when I
Choose
say
your words
traps,
carefully. Pitfalls, shall we say?
but when it's telegraphed, I'm sorry. First of all, it's kind of a silly. Like it's not too silly, but it was also telegraphed. Like, oh yeah, they're on the train. He needs to get him off balance. They telegraph it way too much. Let it happen, because if the audience is worth their salt, they'll either remember that it happened and be expecting it anyway, or when it happens, they'll be reminded, yeah, that happened earlier in the episode. Don't tell us. Don't have the character realize, like, wait a second, yeah, and then don't have him lead into it either. Let the scene play out as it should, and let him be surprised, and let the audience like either feel smart or be surprised with them. I don't know. It just I just felt like it was poorly handled, and it was an otherwise okay scene. And
yeah, see, I had the opposite problem of Junji Ito, where I didn't see the twist coming because it goes so many weird, wacky directions that I don't even bother trying to predict what's going to happen. Here, I don't bother because I just don't care.
yeah,
And it happened, and I still just didn't care.
yeah.
No, it is. I think you mentioned something though that's a little. They don't know how to treat they treat the audience like they're dumb.
Yeah.
Like they really do, and everything is laid so thick with this whole show. It's just like, hey, do you get it? Do you understand the character now?
Spicy Roe Pollock.
Yeah, that's good.
No, I'm sorry, Spicy Pollock Roe.
How could you forget his memorable character quirk?
Yes, his one character quirk.
Well, no, 2. Baseball.
Yeah.
When this episode was, I think it was called it was like tryouts or something.
Yeah.
I was like, no, do not tell me we have a baseball arc coming up. I don't know if
Yeah.
I could go another day never seeing this. I could also watch it again and feel nothing. So I don't know. I guess I'll hold up a card.
Sure. I don't have anything else to say.
This show is just so middle of the road. I can't imagine anybody likes this really die hard. I imagine this is just a palate cleanser, something to whet the appetite for people that want something more dynamic. It's so whatever.
If you were mad, yes. If you were mad last week that we killed Darling in the Franxx and not Kokkoku or Hakata Tonkotsu Ramens, I mean, there you go.
If you were mad last week because of that, don't be mad at me, because I killed all 3 of them last week, and nothing that happened changed my mind.
2 triple kills.
That's 2 triple kills. That means it's going to go down to the Wheel of Justice.
Oh man, it's been a while.
Yeah, it's been since last season. Yeah, so for those who don't know, for those who might be new viewers, when we have a tie, only one thing can die per week. We're not going to use it quite yet, because we have to see if something else gets the triple kill, it will also be added to the wheel. When we have a tie that's all double kills, it goes to audience poll, so that whoever voted to fuck can plead with the audience, hey, kill that and not this. When we all agree that, no, both these shows are whatever, we don't care, then it goes down to the Wheel of Justice. Random chance decides. So stay tuned. Towards the end of the episode, we're going to spin that wheel and see what happens. But before we get to that point, we got to talk about Tiny Life in the Woods.
Woo!
Because if that gets the triple knife, it might get added to the wheel.
That's right.
Yeah.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen. It is not very likely that will happen. But for the sake of argument, here in episode 5, Hakumei tries to get in good with the local carpentry guild. And then she does. They fix a wall together. It's real good.
Yup.
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, this is another show that tends to be broken up into part 1, part 2, tell a couple of different stories. It was, they did the whole title card, hey, here's part 2. But really, it was all one story, which is why I didn't break it up in my synopsis. It is all, Hakumei wants to get in good with this guild. They're feeling like they're kind of, go away, kid, you bother me. We get introduced to some dope new characters. We get a Weasel Boss back.
Yes.
I love Hakumei's Weasel Boss.
Yep.
Yup.
I was a little confused at first who was supposed to be the chairman and the vice chairman of this guild. Chairman is the little dude.
Yeah.
Vice chairman is the big giant badger.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that dynamic.
Yeah.
Because the moment you meet the badger, you're like, oh, he's the chairman, right? Nope. It's this Guzmo-looking motherfucker.
Yeah.
Yep. Also, first time I believe that we have seen a male gnome person. I don't know what to call these tiny little people.
Is it the first time at all? Did we not see a
I feel like there was
one?
one in the pier, but it is the first one to have a more important role than
Yeah.
just one word.
Yeah, there might have been, like, there were some crowd scenes there. Maybe there was
Yeah.
one that I just didn't notice. But yeah, for a hot second, I was wondering, like, because there are not many male characters, period. Weasel Boss is male as far as we can tell. I mean, the insects, I don't fucking know which ones are what.
There was the toad dude at that concert thing that they were doing for the spirits.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Like all the males we have seen so far have been animals.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But yeah, he's a man, all right? He is
Yeah.
a man's man. He is up in here. He's got the Reed Richards gray in the temples. I love this little dude.
Yeah, I do too.
I want to be this guy when I grow up.
Yeah. No, I love this character so much.
Yeah, and it really, like, this show just does so much with such a simple premise. Like, okay, we're fixing this wall. Let's see. Okay, she's got to sharpen these tools. She's got to hold the whetstone a certain way. You got to do this certain process. You have to, and they go into like scoring the rock and then hit it. Like, just showing off all these cool things of just like people do this for a living. Look how cool it is.
Yeah. No, and watching them come up with ways to handle, like, having to improv how to split that stone was the neatest thing.
Yeah, that was really neat. Like they like light it on fire, they like make this little like tar mixture, leave this like little mark so you can chisel it in one shot ipatsu. It's so cool.
Yeah, and I liked like you can see why Hakame wants to be in good with these guys. Like for a trade guild, they're real cool. Like they do that little like, let's get everybody hyped up for the day of work. What do we stand for?
Yeah.
Like something we've been talking about, if it's not too inside baseball with Team 4 Stars, what's our motto? What's our mission statement? What are we all about as we expand into all these different areas?
Yeah.
These dudes know what they're about.
Yeah.
What do we stand for? What is it? Safety, promptness. There's
Loyalty? No, something.
the last one is camaraderie.
Camaraderie, yeah.
I want to say there's a third one before
There is.
that.
I can't remember
but-
what it is.
Yeah.
Loyalty? I don't remember.
But yeah, these guys know what they're about.
Yeah.
And-
She wants to be in on the chant. She wants to be part of
Yeah,
the
she
part of
wants
the
to
gang.
wear one of their dope work coats.
Yeah, they look awesome.
Like, yeah, I don't give a shit about carpentry. I want to be in with these guys.
I love the scene where where he comes over, hands her the chisel, and says, "Here, sharpen that."
Yeah.
And she's like, I can't do that. And he's like, well, why not? This is too scary for me. I'm sorry. This is too much.
Yeah, and up until this point, she's been like, no, I'll do this. I'll do whatever you need. I'll sharpen your tools. I'll like, she's working up notes. I will design this whole project. And people will tell you, and it's good advice, that is not who you want to be when you're applying for a job.
yeah.
Because that smacks of over-eagerness, that smacks of overconfidence. What finally sells this dude on no, she can be one of us, is when she says, no, I can't handle that. Because, yeah, he says, yeah, somebody who is not scared of anything is useless to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's awesome.
No, it was kind of I hadn't really thought about it much, but it is kind of a little rumination on being the overeager applying for a job. Like, oh, I can do this, I can do that, whatever you want. I got all this X, Y, and Z. First day on the job, I'm gonna rework your entire infrastructure. Calm down, kid.
Yeah, and I'm in the weird position now for the first time in my life where literally every week I get cold contacted through our business email address or someplace else saying, hey, what can I do for you? Can I, like, internship? You don't even have to pay me. And I'm sitting here like, nah, dude, you're coming off way too eager. You need to show me what your value is before I will even consider you.
Yeah, and know that.
Yeah.
And know your value.
Yeah, know your value. Like, know that it's not zero, because if you come in saying, I'm worthless, but hire me anyway, like, yeah, obviously
real
that's...
good.
But yeah, you need to come real specific, like, hey, here is what I am real good at and know how to do.
Yeah.
Because guess what? Nobody's good at everything.
And she took to sharpening, and you see a bit with her talking to the badger. It's like, no, you gotta hold it like this. No, other angle. And she's sharp. And I love when when Weasel Boss is like, you gotta sharpen my blades. They're like as big as you are. And she's like, nope, I got it. I can do it. And she does.
Yeah.
So one of my friend Gavin called this not queer baiting, but he was like, "Hey, so yeah, they kind of lampshaded the whole relationship between Hakumei and Mikochi," and I was like, "Yeah, they did."
Yeah,
and I'm kind of happy to see like, yep, no, they noticed. Like, it's impossible not to. They're kind of a married couple.
Yeah,
and
because the chairman, or maybe it's the badger. I think it's the badger says something about, because the chairman's wife is a pretty central character in the latter part. She's in there cooking everybody's food.
No, it's the chairman that says it, I think.
Yeah, I think you might be right. Where as he's like kind of still vetting her, like, where do you fit in this organization? What's your deal? What's your life like? He says, so you're married, yeah? Your wife's name is Mikochi, is that right? And Hakumei's like, yeah, no, see, I'm a woman.
yeah, you know that I'm a woman, right?
And he's just like, oh.
Yeah, the expression on his face is just like, I should really rethink. Okay.
Gay marriage, apparently not a thing, a possibility considered in this little culture.
Yeah.
Although, at the same time, that's a very Japanese response of I'm a woman, so unlikely. Who knows? I mean, this is a tiny little life in the woods. Who knows who gets together? But by and large,
I mean, I didn't know if anybody got married in their little world. Maybe they just like spring forth from flower petals or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like
we don't know anything about them.
Get them out of the cabbage patch, or the stork brings them. Like, Smurfs don't fuck. The stork brings them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
they might all have a barcode on their butt.
Yeah, could be.
But yeah, they're all store bought.
That's why. That's why they never had a lady Smurf until Gargamel made one.
Ah, yeah, that's right.
Yep. Yeah. As I totally kill the conversation.
No, I would say on the tier list, I don't know if I'd put the Smurfs equal or below Tiny Life in the Woods. Maybe above.
I never read the original Smurf comics from whence the animated series that most of us are familiar with sprang.
Yeah.
But I think I would have to go back to the source before I could meaningfully compare them.
Yeah, I would too. I gotta wonder if there's any murder, any Smurf murder. Smurder. Yeah.
The streets will run blue.
Yeah. Oh, I love, by the way, the end of every episode they have like a little story off to the left while the
which
credits
I've been
are
watching
rolling.
now.
Yeah, and like it was cool just seeing a bit of a history with the how the dynamic with Boss Man and his Badger buddy came about.
I love Badger Dude.
Yeah.
Badger, like, he's so nice and friendly. They got this good cop, bad cop thing going on. I love him.
And just knowing that, they did not found this association, but it was hitting hard times, and they sailed in and said, nah, dude, we're going to revitalize this. We're going to make this into our own. Like, just those little bits of the history of this world I love seeing.
Yeah. The setting is so good here. And again, they continue to use the framing devices really well. This continues to have the soundtrack it accompanies the visuals very well. They both work in tandem.
Yeah. So this is quickly becoming that, like, I save this show for last every time because this is what I want to end on. This is the thing that helps me come down from my weekend. Like, I need Hakumei Mikochi to relax and chill, and man, I love this show so much. I do.
It's a real good show. I don't know that there's that much more to say about it.
Yeah, let's just hold up our cards.
Yeah,
It's good.
it's real good.
It's real good.
Highly recommended. It's on High Dive.
Yeah.
Go get yourself some High Dive. It's cheap.
It is.
And they've got a deep back catalog with some weird, wacky stuff.
They have Ideon.
Yeah.
My Gundam Chans. Ideon's good.
So marking down the beautiful trifecta for our beautiful little woodland creatures.
By the way, it's hilarious? To go in our comments section for the last episode and people accusing you of not being a mecha fan because you hated Darling
why?
in the Franxx.
Oh, because I hated a garbage show.
No, if anything, that just shows that all of that earlier shit that it's cribbing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Your criticisms of it are not coming from a place of not knowing what mecha is.
No, I know exactly what it's doing, and I felt like it was doing it poorly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish I remembered her name, but there's a woman who did a review of Rogue One that was cutting and very honest, but also very well delivered. And what she said was, loving something unconditionally doesn't make you love it more. It just makes you love it sadder.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's how I feel about everything. I will always be critical of the things that I watch. I'm not going to love all of Super because I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan, and you shouldn't love all mecha because you're a mecha fan.
Yeah, because I like all mecha, therefore it ticks the boxes on my character sheet, so now Robot Me knows my identity is mecha fan, so I have to like it to fit in.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
Also, if you want a perspective from somebody who's not a big mecha fan, that's why there are 3 of us here. I am not the hugest mecha fan. There are mecha shows that I like. I liked Gurren Lagann. I liked Big O, but I haven't seen a lot of Gundam. I have not seen more than 3 or 4 episodes of Evangelion. So if you're sitting there like the very most casual of mecha fans and you need that perspective, that's why I'm at this table. But,
By the way, real quick, something I saw somebody bring up about Darling in the Franxx. The demon girl's name is O2, right?
Yeah.
yeah.
Someone pointed out that it was O and then Ni.
Oh.
Yeah,
That's cute.
Yeah.
It's a cute little Japanese pun.
Yeah.
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 By
Real
the way,
cute.
the laptop.
Yeah. It's fine. He'll get it.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
Yep. So, next on our list, Killing Bites.
Oh!
Here in episode 5,
What is the name of this episode, Ben?
Oh, yes.
I can have sex in any way I want. Yeah, the episode titles in Killing Bites are great. They so perfectly encapsulate the dumb shit that is this show. But here in episode 5, Tiger appears to take down Crocodile and Gorilla effortlessly. Ersatz Vegeta and Gecko ambush Cheetah. Kitty Cat Team's player orders Tiger to move to help Cheetah, but Crocodile chomps down on his leg to keep him from moving. Perfectly Ordinary College Student then orders Hitomi Badger to help Cheetah. They square off for a Hitomi Badger versus Vegeta, Cheetah versus Gecko double showdown. So, slightly more intricate plot-wise this time. A lot of moving pieces. I felt like they did a real good job of keeping everything, like, not the easiest thing to synopsize in a paragraph, but at no point was I confused, like, wait, who's where? What's going on?
Agreed.
Yeah.
No, they are balancing very well the multiple factions. I'm getting a better sense of, okay, so that's Sumitomo dude. That's Yashida or whatever their name is. Like, that's them. Okay, I'm starting to familiarize a bit more, and they've started to work it slowly in just enough for me to get it now.
Yeah, I think it helps a lot that I don't need to understand it to have fun and appreciate it, so I can just kind of absorb it through osmosis.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's where I am.
Yeah, because they'll repeat it enough, and I'm just like, okay, I get it. It's a Sumitomo, all like they're bad reptile people, sure.
Yep. These other dudes, they're all kitty cats. Okay, I can hang with that.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping for. I was hoping they would have a certain like species or phylum, whatever the fuck the term is for animals. I'm glad it's that. This episode, I felt nothing as well. No, there was some crazy shit with Mr. Vegeta. And I don't know. I can see that being too much for some people, but I don't think it's anything more excessive than has already been there. Honestly,
I would disagree.
Yeah. He had Cheetah straight up spread eagled, like ready for penetration.
yeah, that's true.
And he even uses the phrase, "I can't wait to stick my transformed dick into Tiger's little sister."
Yeah. Also,
Which is it's so ridiculous. I laugh. That's all because it's so insane.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to call you wrong. It made me slightly uncomfortable. Not enough to ruin my enjoyment of the episode, but a little like, did we need this?
They go that extra mile with it to make his deconstruction all the more satisfying. But yeah, it gets a little gratuitous, a little uncomfortable, and a little what's the term? There's a term for it.
Exploitative?
Yeah, exploitative. Which, honestly,
That's this whole show.
yeah, that's kind of this whole show. Like, at some point, I've got to kind of, like, you have to accept what the show is about. Sex, violence, and, whoever teeth is the sharpest. That's what Killing Bites is.
Yeah, that's
Like,
what Killing Bites is.
Did we get that drop this episode?
No,
I
we
don't think
We
did.
didn't.
Yeah.
I was upset.
and it was actually almost the perfect point to do it, because when she shows up there, she could have been like, I could have just stayed up into that vantage point and watched over everything and stayed safe. But no, that's not what Killing Bites is. I would have been totally like, you know what? Okay, you earned it that time. But no, yeah, the first episode that we don't get that obnoxious catchphrase. So
Good catchphrase. It's great.
Yeah. So yeah, overall, like this episode, maybe not quite as strong. I didn't feel like didn't go quite as. It still had some fun stuff, but it's also moving slightly away from the craziness and more into let's actually move the plot forward. And that's just not what I enjoy about this. But it's also, I mean, it's still a lot of fun. I still had a lot of fun.
I wouldn't say the plots move forward all that much. I mean, we're still like knee deep in battles right now.
But it's trying to give more the boardroom scenes like that.
Yeah.
I think like those in particular are getting much more screen time, and
Yeah.
and it's either because they can only do so much with Mr. Main character dude is fish out of water here. Haha, you care about people? Fucking peasants. Like
It is a good. I kind of love it though, because
I
it
do
is
too.
great to see him so far out of depth here, and just the fact that he made the right decision by Hitomi is also really
yeah.
cool too, because he's like, "You want me to move away from here into the battle? Yeah, okay, that's good. Way to go, bud."
yeah, I think that was our first time that she's really complimented him, going like, "Oh, you took me away from that, and you know what? That was a good decision. That was good. I'm okay to be here."
and it's not like he made a good tactical decision. He just made the decision of like, and this was a personal. He wasn't into it for her. They just corresponded. So I'm glad that wasn't but wait a second, I should play it like this. No, this was him like, but she's her friend though.
Yeah, the only thing that I would have wanted added to that is Shido, who created Hitomi Badger and set Perfectly Ordinary College Student up as her handler, as kind of like a proxy or patsy. I wouldn't have minded a cut over to him saying, all according to Keikaku.
Yeah, right.
Because that he knows that this is going to happen.
Yeah.
So having that just cemented, like, yeah, I knew you were going to do that chump move, and that was all part of my plan, too.
How about Fan Chick? The one
Oh,
at the table
yeah,
who's
yeah.
like, trust in your peace.
Trust your pieces.
I'm like, what's up with this bitch? Like, actually, that got me. Like, all the other boardroom members are like, whatever, I don't care about them. That chick, I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah,
you've got a different angle on this. I like that.
yeah, they're playing something there.
Yeah, I also like the Perfectly Ordinary College Student, like, can't even pretend to be sneaky. He can't even, like, when everybody's like, oh, you made this stupid move because of friendship, he can't even pretend to be all like, oh, but you don't even know what kind of a deep game I'm playing. He's just like, yeah, no, friendship, that's what everybody hears about, right? Like,
Yeah, no bluff game.
It just seemed like the right thing to do.
And I love how he kills the enthusiasm in the room. Like, it's that, like, even the announcer has to, like, regain her composure and be like,
This idiot.
yeah, so anyway, also, and God, she's so into it though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love. Yeah,
she's
she's
getting
great.
off on this stuff, and then when you have this 2-on-2, she is
Double
like,
battle.
Yeah, and in the annals of great dumb anime tournament announcers, like she's up there.
Yeah, no, she's having a great time with it.
Yeah,
it's
very
fun.
solid, very solid.
No, and also the music's still great, man. I love the music in this show. It knows how to accent things right when it needs to, and with the animation too. Animation's real good.
I can say this: the music rarely stands out to me,
think
but
that's fine.
yeah, I'm actually very okay with that, because unlike with certain other shows where they stand out and I'm like, that just took me out of the moment. Here, I always feel like I'm in the moment.
it's like,
so
yeah.
you know what? While I would definitely love to be able to hum in some tracks in my head or
Yeah.
be thinking like, oh man, I love this piece in particular, at no point am I ever, this is like, they played that.
Yeah, I would never want
Who
anything
decided on
else.
this? Yeah.
Yeah, it could be the same song every time, I'm not saying it could be that and I wouldn't care. I'm saying it very well might be and I just don't even notice.
Yeah.
And that's fine because
Yeah.
it does. Once I hear those electric guitars come in,
dun, dun,
yeah. Are we going to get the still frame of the animals? We are? Hell yeah. Tell me some animal facts.
Let's learn about cheetahs.
Yeah.
Let's learn about geckos.
What do
Did you know-
geckos do?
Did you know that they have the strongest grip at a nano scale?
I didn't, but now I do, and I'm happy.
Tigers are the largest of the big cats. I'm like, yeah, it is.
It's the most aggressive biology lesson I've ever had, and it's so fun.
I know, right?
Yeah. And something we haven't really talked a whole lot about. We've mentioned in passing sometimes, but the post-credit scene where what's it? Oshi is the name of
The
Okay.
bird thing? Yeah.
So I'm about to tell you something.
Please
I
do.
have not watched a single one of those segments beyond the first one.
Oh, no, they're
They're
fun.
great.
I'm gonna go back and rewatch
Yeah,
all of
they're
them,
good.
but
Yeah, so they do just a little sketch, like non-canon as far as I can tell, narrated by the narrator who occasionally pops in and gives us animal facts about the greater honey guide bird.
Yeah.
Which has this symbiotic relationship with the honey badger, personified by this meek little glasses girl who's it'll just be like her and Hitomi Badger like at the mall eating desserts, just palling around being friends. And this episode, it was all about how this greater honey guide bird has this super powerful digestive system. They can eat beeswax and digest it and get nutrients from it, which most things can't do. As like this meek glasses girl character is eating something she shouldn't be able to digest, and then, but Oshi is not a therianthro. She has no powers. She's just a person. And
That's good.
Yeah, it's super repetitive, super formulaic, but in that really satisfying way. In that way, when I was watching Voltron as a kid, when I hear Peter Cullen's dumb voice,
Yeah.
when I see like it's the same animation every week of them combining to form Voltron, but
But you're in it.
yep, give me that dopamine drip. I know what
Exactly.
this is.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's kind of what this show is. It's knows exactly what it's doing, and it is just playing to those strengths so well.
yeah. And it's kind of amazing because I feel like if one element were
Yeah.
off, if one element were off in this concoction, the entire thing would come down.
Yep.
But it's perfect trash.
It's like the garbage
such-
plate, man.
I know, right? Oh man, this is junk food.
Yeah.
And I need me some junk food. So
Yeah.
Yeah, it's easy to dismiss it as just garbage. This is expertly crafted garbage.
It is.
I think it takes more than you think to be able to take this garbage and make it palatable.
Yeah. It's the finest, greasiest dish you've ever had in just the right ways.
Yeah, this is state fair food.
Exactly. Yeah.
It is.
Oh yes, Killing
yeah,
Bites is
that's
steak
good.
fair food. I love it.
There you go.
And you can't have too many of these, and it's probably not the best of its kind, but let me tell you, in the last 10 years, this feels like the most 90 OVA shit I've had in so long, so thank you, Killing Bites.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've compared, like last season, we had Garo, we had Juni Taisen, we wound up killing them. They could have been and perhaps should have been this hot, greasy mess of garbage,
Yeah.
and they just couldn't pull it off. This is pulling it off.
Yeah, and I think it's because it knows when and where to go those peaks and valleys with the things it does. And I think in the past, just things either played it too safe or didn't go enough with it. And that's what I mentioned, like this the instance with Snaky Vegeta could be seen as excess, but I feel like if you know what the show is about, that's just welcome to Killing Bites to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, let's just hold up some cards. Fucking it!
Yep.
It's so good. I can't wait to stick my transformed penis in it.
Oh my god.
Real quick, I looked it up. The sound director also did No Game No Life and
Yeah.
where was it? Queen's Blade.
Oh,
Oh
really?
my god, really?
Nice.
Well, it had no game, no life at least.
Hey, man, the good trash, right?
Well, let's see if Pop Team Epic is the good trash this week. Here in episode 6, drugs.
Thank you, by the way.
It's never going to change, because what else?
I know, and that it doesn't need to.
Hey, Hachi Mishima!
Hey, Hot,
Yeah.
showing up hot damn. Okay, so the whole short here was
Yeah.
probably my favorite so far because I love the stupid shonen manga bullshit, and that's all this was. And it's just like, oh, he's the shogi master. Oh no, he's a robot. Oh god, I can't I could just keep gushing.
So, anyone unfamiliar with one of the biggest jokes in this whole entire thing is that this is one giant Hikaru no
I
Go
know.
parody. It's if you've never seen Hikaru no Go, it's literally about a young man who gets into Go who is possessed or accompanied by the spirit of an ancient Go master who wears the exact Heian outfit that
the real
Pipimi wears in this.
Real big headdress.
Yeah, speaks with a Heian accent and everything.
Yeah.
And, that's why, Popco compliments her. You
Yeah.
know, it's like, hey, nice
Nice
Heian
accent.
accent. And she's like, right? And yeah, all of this, it's all nothing but just parodies of these tropes, the whole, and also of, Go tournaments in general, like with the announcers, the guy who says something and the girl who always repeats the exact same damn thing afterwards.
Yeah.
I was gonna ask if that was a specific reference because it was super noticeable. But
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it's just them goofing on. Just a lot of commentators for stuff like this. We'll just say, here's one person that knows what they're talking about. Here's a hype person out of their element. We'll just repeat the same thing.
Yeah, and it's really, honestly, it's obnoxious. It's honestly obnoxious in actual tournaments. So here, it's great to see that is just taken very literally, and
it reminded me of Galaxy Quest. Sigourney Weaver, her only job on the ship is to repeat what the computer just said.
Yeah.
That was a really good goof.
Yeah. No, this, and I don't know, there's not much to critically say about it. Just that if you're familiar with Hikaru no Go, it's such a fun short. I love the just ending with the AI, all this stupid bullshit. We have the JoJo's Fist of the North Star, everybody playing pieces, going super fast. It's having a blast with it, and I was able to laugh along the whole time.
and I don't know why they did the Kamehameha with
Right.
Kimi no Nawa. I don't.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Because he's trying to figure out his name.
Oh my god,
That's the big climax for Yu-Gi-Oh! Yeah. He's like, my name is. Oh, I'm not gonna spoil it, but yeah,
Son of a bitch.
yeah.
Yeah, I guess this really was just all a parody of all that shonen bullshit,
Yeah,
all in
it's
one
just all
big
that
segment.
Hikaru no Go, whatever shogi. I don't think there's been a lot of shogi shows.
Lion March or
Oh yeah, yeah. I know what you're talking about.
spring comes in, or is it summer comes in like a lion?
Spring
or whatever.
comes in like a lion.
Spring marches in like a lion.
Spring takes place in March with your lion.
Yes, there you go.
You're lying in April.
Yeah, your lion in April. Back half of the episode, fun little goofs. I don't think anything really stuck out to me a whole lot with the back half.
Yeah, there was a cooking show. There was some YouTube. As soon as that YouTube stuff showed up, that perked me up. Oh, this is my world.
Yeah.
Give me some deep YouTube cuts. It kind of didn't.
Nah.
No, it was just, hey, thanks for subscribing.
Yeah, it's very it has
I know
one
you
little goof
didn't.
at the end.
Yeah. It was what are you gonna talk about?
Oh, the cooking segment was kind of funny, but it's mostly the sound effect. I just love that sound effect repeating over and over. That was some sound design fun there. Otherwise, yeah, the real centerpiece of this episode is that first bit, which is cool. I mean, I'm glad to hear that because sometimes these can be up and down.
Yeah.
This one was pretty much just from the beginning to the end, a great little parody of the whole concept.
Yeah.
But that did hurt it. That hurts it, especially in its rewatchability, because this week we got Yuki Kaji.
Yeah.
And I can't remember the other one, but yeah, there were a couple of newer guys.
It's the guy. It's the two. Because I looked it up. It's the two. I don't remember his name. It's the guy that plays Aaron and the guy that plays Connie.
Yes.
So that was the dynamic they were going
Which,
for.
if they get Bryce Papenbrook
Yeah,
and Cliff Chapman in there, I'm gonna that's gonna be awesome. I really hope they or Cliff Chapin. Dang it, I like
Your
the
buddy
guy a lot.
C.
Yeah.
Good old CC.
Yeah, good old CC. Yeah, no, I hope they get them both in there because
Yeah.
that would be the coolest thing, and they'd be perfect for the role.
I should check out more of the dub. I've only seen the one, but yeah, I'm excited to see that too.
Yeah,
Well, gents, you ready to hold up some cards?
yeah.
Yeah.
Kieran, start us off.
Your mileage may vary with this show, but if you are in the target demo, I think you'll have fun.
This is always going to be kind of an up and down show, but I never regret watching it. It's 10 minutes, and usually there's at least one joke in there where I'm like, well, that was all worth it. Look, I'm not going to, some people get kind of upset. Some people have been, kind of vitriolic in the comments, why do you like this garbage show? because it can be funny and irreverent, and it's amazing that it got made in the first place, and it's not to be taken seriously. Do not watch this like a regular show. Watch this like some YouTube channel with some funny videos, and you're gonna be a lot more satisfied. This doesn't take a time investment. This is not an emotional investment. This is popcorn fun. Have fun.
Guys, I only have 2 cards in front of me. There is no middle ground, so I'm going to hold up this knife.
And I don't, and that's fine.
Yeah, this is not a vitriolic knife. Like, this is, I get to hold up this knife because these 2 will hold up that fuck every time, and that's fine. Like, I'll keep watching it, and it will continue to do nothing for me, and that's fine. Occasionally, it might do something for me. Like, the first couple of weeks, it kind of did. I don't see it ever, like, capturing me that way, but that's fine.
Like that's yeah, and I think the fun for I initially didn't like the bigger sketch, but with the past 2 episodes, they have been on the mark for, at least if you know what they're talking about and what they're making fun of, really making something enjoyable. So I'm now looking forward to the bigger segments with these.
Yeah, but that's the end of our list here today. But we do have some housekeeping to take care of.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
I'm gonna hop off camera real quick and get our Wheel of Justice set up. I will be right back.
Alrighty. Hello everyone. Welcome to the wrap up, the time where we take some time to just appreciate the things we've lost, the things we've gained. I think we're gonna gain some more here. Because by losing these shows, we will gain time in our precious lives.
Yeah, I won't lie to you. It's not like I want anything to die every week, but there is that part of me that when I'm in the middle of, say, Kokkoku or Hakata Tonkotsu Ramens, there is that part of me that it's like, oh man, you know, if this goes, if I don't have to watch this anymore,
You might be better.
yeah. And you know what? That was how I felt this week. You know, that's how I felt with both of those shows. And that's why when I put up my knife, I was like, I don't feel that bad about this.
Yeah.
I feel like this decision was made for me before I came in here. I wanted to at least talk to you guys and get your perspective on those episodes.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure I was going to knife both of them by the time it was over.
That was kind of my inclination too. I didn't have anything like hard pressed, but I wanted to wait until after we talked about everything to go over it. But like, especially after Kokkoku was just like,
Yeah.
it could get better. It really could, but I don't know what I'd need to hear, to make it
wait,
make it
I
go
have
the
a- I
extra
have one.
mile.
A marker or Sharpie? We don't
What
want
do you
to make
get?
that mistake again.
It does need to be a dry erase marker, not a Sharpie.
No, permanent marker.
Okay.
Oh. Dodge that bullet.
Fun little thing. During
What?
the Pop Team Epic one,
Uh-huh.
every now and again I would use a screen wipe to go between the cameras.
You would what?
Screen wipe.
Oh yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Fun. Thank you. We need little bumpers.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Bibbidi bumpers. Well, I put the bumpers in. Well, the kind of bumpers.
Yeah.
They're intro things.
Yeah.
One second. Since we're just messing around, I want to see what this one does.
What does it do?
I don't know yet.
Test the transition. What happens? And
Oh, it's just
it's a hard cut.
mix.
Mix.
Oh,
Oh, it's a fade.
Ooh.
Okay.
I like that.
I don't
That's
like
nice.
it. No.
okay.
Can you look halfway? Can we be stuck in limbo? Help!
Oh, nice.
Get me out! No, here's where you can get the screenshot of
Oh, cool. Ben's inside me.
All right, and we're back. I got the wheel all set up here. For those of you who have not seen the last couple of times that we did the wheel, so we've got HTR, Hakata Tonkotsu Ramens. We got K for Kokkoku. Our 2 tri-kills might die. We've also got 2 special spaces, the green spaces. If it hits the knife, they both die.
yes.
But if it hits the 0, they both live.
No.
Yeah. So we're gonna find out. Scott, spin the wheel for us. It's up to you.
Kill them both.
Yeah, kill them both,
Save
Spock.
me. That's like 40 minutes of my life.
Hakata
All
Tonkotsu Ramens is dead.
Yes.
Everybody, moment of silence for the good show that could have been but wasn't.
Spicy pollock rub.
All right. Guys, any parting words for the people at home before we sign off? Usually I sign off saying join us in the unsnip, but this was the whole thing this week.
Yep.
Let us know what you thought.
Yeah.
That's what I want. Give us some feedback if you could. How'd you like the stream format? How'd you like the whole thing as one kit and caboodle? let us know. We're trying stuff out because this is so much easier for us to do it this way. So if this works, this is what we'd like to keep doing.
Yeah, and honestly, I really do want to hear people's responses. Do you prefer having the regular and unsnipped? Is this better? You know, we want to satisfy you guys, okay? So, yeah, definitely give us your responses, and...
Absolutely. But for everybody in the Twitch audience, for everybody in the YouTube audience, thank you for joining us, and we will see you again next week.
See you guys.
Bye.